Welcome in, everybody. I'm Devon O'Day, and it's time for another edition of What's New at the Zoo with
Jim Bartoo.
This gets me tickled every time. We're in a very cool place. This is not a zoo-y place.
This is kind of unique in the zoo world, right? We have this historic home. It was built in 1810. Some people call it the Croft House. Some people call it the Grassmere Historic Home. It goes under several different names, but it's a historic home on property that our guests can tour through. It's a guided tour, so you have to come during certain times, but it's included with zoo admission, and it's a beautiful, beautiful home. The tour itself really kind of gives you a good idea about why the zoo is here, how the zoo became the zoo here on this property, and how it developed.
Before that, it was a yard, basically, an acreage and gardens and a farm, and it just belonged to a family, right?
That's right, yeah. It was two sisters, Margaret and Elise Croft, and they basically handed the property over to the city under the condition that a portion of it be used as a nature study area, and that's really kind of how the zoo started.
There's so many events that you've got planned coming up to celebrate. If you really want to get a good look, we were talking about before the show, running.
That's right, yeah.
So if you're a runner, or even a fast walker, or even a slow walker, you can be part of something called Zoo Run.
That's right. It's February 17th, Saturday, so come on out. You don't have to run it. You can walk it if you want. You can bring your kids out with strollers and push through zoo grounds. It goes all throughout the zoo, including some areas behind the scenes that visitors don't normally get to see. So it's a lot of fun. I've done it now for many, many years, both with my children, and my wife goes with me every time. So we really enjoy getting out and doing that event every year.
When it comes to Valentine's and things like that, there are a lot of people who get a teddy bear. But we have something very special, a teddy bear clinic that's coming up at the zoo.
Yes, in early March, teddy bear clinic, and it doesn't have to be a teddy bear. We encourage children to bring out their favorite stuffed friend for a checkup at the zoo's veterinary hospital. And our veterinary team, along with some assistants, will give your stuffed friend a full checkup, and you'll get to leave with a certificate of good health. They'll do some minor repairs if they can from time to time, but in general, it's a great way to come out and bring your favorite friend with you, get a look at the hospital, which not a lot of people get inside and see. It's not on a public exhibit, so you can get inside and see what's going on and meet the veterinarians and the vet techs and everybody that helps keep our animals healthy.
We're taking care of February with Zoo Run, the teddy bear clinic in March. April, the Easter season, anything
Late
special?
March, yeah.
Late March, okay.
Easter is March 31, and Extravaganza, which is our annual Easter egg hunt, is always the Saturday before Easter. So March 30th is Extravaganza. It is included with zoo admission. It's a very, very popular day. Oftentimes our highest attendance day of the year.
Wow.
Now, again, we have some parking restrictions. We're still working on that parking garage. We hope to have it finished probably May-ish, maybe June. So we still have to kind of restrict how many people can come in that day because we only have so much parking that people can do. So we do advance tickets, which we're doing on a daily basis right now. If you want to come to the Easter egg hunt, get your tickets now. Get them soon because we will likely sell out for that unless it's impending hurricane blowing through on that day. Then there might be tickets available. But other than that, it'll likely sell out.
Well, now, is the zoo open otherwise around Extravaganza? Is the zoo open at the same time, or is it just Extravaganza?
Oh yeah, the zoo's open during the day. So, because the Easter egg hunt, I mean, let's be honest, the Easter egg hunt, it's a hunt in the field for eggs. Every kid gets a prize, so it doesn't matter whether you find 1 egg or 100 eggs, you're getting a prize pack like every kid gets. We don't want it to be a bloodbath hunt for eggs, right? And it's over in maybe, depends on the age of the kid. 2 and 3 year olds, it takes them maybe 10 minutes to hunt for eggs. 8 through 10 year olds, about 10 seconds. to get all the eggs off the field. So it's a very quick thing. So after you're done hunting eggs, you can see the zoo. You can see the animals hunt for eggs. We'll have some enrichment so animals can hunt for their own eggs. Some of them are real eggs. Others are like paper mache, and you break them open. There's meat inside. It really just kind of depends on what the animal eats, right?
Are you serious?
There could be crickets inside, or bugs, or something like that the animals will eat. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And you don't want the kids to get confused and get the wrong eggs.
Don't. Well, they'd have to be in the exhibit, which we discourage.
We hate that too.
Yeah, we don't go inside animal exhibits. That's a huge no-no.
Just don't.
Just stay on the pathway.
It looks really cool on YouTube when it works out great. Just don't.
No. Yeah.
Hey, we're going to be back in just a few minutes. We're going to find out more about this incredible place where we are here at the Nashville Zoo. If you want to get tickets to Extravaganza, Zoo Run, anything going on at the zoo, NashvilleZoo.org.
Having fun?
Yeah, I'm going to key of my own pretty soon. Me too.
Good night, Kia guy.
Good night.
Buckle up, Dad.
There yet?
At Kia of Murfreesboro, we're here whether you're ready or not.
Here's some reasons why you would want to consider the Beehive membership. One is you get 3 different inspections, one for your cooling, one for your heating, and one for your plumbing. What we can do is we come out and we check the unit before we're actually gonna need it. So we're able to see problems ahead of time, so that way in those months that you're hot, you don't have to be hot.
It's so freaking hot in there.
We do find a problem, we go ahead and take photos of it, and we tell you how we go about fixing it.
We're back. What's new at the zoo with Jim Bartoo? And now we have got the manager of this beautiful home with us, Jim. It's Tori Mason.
That's right. Tori is the expert on the history of this property and the home and everything that touches it and is associated with it. So, Tori, give us the 30,000 foot scope of this house.
Oh gosh, well, you did a nice introduction of it just a little bit ago, but yeah, this house was built around 1810, makes it 214 years old now, so.
She looks good for her age.
She really does, she's holding up well. Owned by 5 generations of one family, so that's really unique. It was passed down through the family, and because of that, all of these neat things that you see behind us, you know, most of them are original.
Wow.
Yeah.
We heard the ding of a clock earlier. The clock still works.
Still works, absolutely. So that's one of the really unique things. But also, because this house is still here, we're able to tell the story of why we have a zoo. You know, the last family members that lived here, Margaret and Elise Croft, they were sisters, never married, loved animals, and wanted to make sure that this didn't get turned into a subdivision or a commercialized development. So they made sure in their will, they left it to be a nature center so people would have a place to come and learn about animals.
You know, I think about all the people who feel forced to sell the family farm or sell the family farm. They didn't let that enter in. They
didn't, and there were many opportunities. You know, they had run into some financial trouble. They were offered a little over $1 million in 1961 for this property. They turned it down, because that's how much they loved the land and how much they believed that this was something more than just a commercialized development.
When it comes to being part of a zoo family, how did you end up here in this house?
How much time do we have? How much time do we have? I started off my career as an animal keeper. I moved to Nashville in 1995 as an animal keeper, but in about 1998, 1999, things kind of shifted a little bit, and I started really managing this aspect of the zoo, and we created the historic farm at that point. And I've always loved history. My family, my personal family background is I come from 4 generations of cattle farmers, so it just kind of fit. It just kind of fit. So I'm really proud that the zoo trusts me to be the steward of this story and this place.
With all of the woodwork, if you were to able to do a look at the architecture in here, these arched doorways, and the wood is real wood and it's heavy. How do you clean it? What is your cleaning thing of choice? What do you use? Because you don't want it to tear up the finishes.
No, we don't use Pledge. We don't use any of those modern things. Most of what we use is very diluted Murphy's oil soap and water, or just dry cleaning. So when we do need to clean the fingerprints off, we use the Murphy's oil soap. That's the good stuff.
I just had to ask. I know my sister's watching the show go, well, how do you clean all that?
Helpful hints.
Now, this house lived through the Civil War. Tell me a little bit about the house's involvement in the Civil War, or non-involvement during the Civil War, and then to segue into that, kind of a little bit about tenant farming on the property. This is Black History Month, and I kind of want to hear a little bit about how African American people helped shape this property.
Yeah, so this most definitely was a family that was that owned enslaved individuals. This was the South. They were no different than anyone else in this area. So we had an average of around 30 to 35 individuals that were enslaved here at any given time between 1810 and 1865, the time of emancipation. We know that the 3rd generation owner, his name was William Dixon Shute, did not fight in the war. We haven't been able to find any records that he actually fought in the war. We knew that he fled Nashville at a certain point, and his enslaved individuals stayed here. We have letters in our archival history where he mentions some of the enslaved individuals' names. And if you were to look at census records, they're mostly just listed by age and gender, not by name. So for us to have some names to actually put to those individuals is pretty rare and pretty important. After emancipation, we're not entirely sure what happened with the enslaved individuals. It's possible some of them stayed here to work. We know that there was a big renovation done to the house by William Dixon Shute after the Civil War, and one of the things that he did was he relocated one of the original enslaved cabins to this part of the property for tenant farmers to live in. Tenant farming was a way that enslaved individuals could continue to work at a place where they were familiar. Even though they could have left and done something else, a lot of them didn't have that opportunity. So several individuals may have stayed here. We know in 1919 there was a man by the name of Frank Morton that was hired by Leela Shute to be a tenant farmer, and he moved in to that particular cabin, which is located right behind this home, in 1919, and he actually lived there until he died in 1962.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we have an educational display that's out there at the cabin, so people that come to the zoo can actually go by the cabin, look inside of it. It's open. You can kind of read, and we've got some displays and things that are in there that kind of talk about tenant farming in the South after the Civil War and how that played a part on the Grassmere community. And that's rare. You don't really see a whole lot of history, that part of history being talked about in the South. So this is great for us to do. And because of this display has won awards all across the state from lots of different historical organizations have said this is a wonderful thing that you all have set up. So I would encourage people to come up here and spend some time up here and look around and understand a little bit more about how we came to be and how this part of the property kind of developed over the years.
Yeah, and how important the Mortons were to actually the success and the survival of the farm, in the early 1900s.
And a name, I love how Nashville kept all the names of things like Chutes Lane. Now I'm going, oh, there's that family name.
Yeah.
Right,
Those,
right.
you know.
Well, yeah, the Croft Middle School was
Yeah.
named after the sisters Margaret and Elise Croft, right? Because this was part of their property. That area of the property used to be part of the Grassmere property.
Incredible stuff. And now I want to say, if you have homeschoolers at home, you don't just study animals when you come to the Nashville Zoo. It's a history lesson.
Yep.
It is a botany lesson. It is an animal lesson. It's just a lesson every single day, and it changes too, doesn't it?
It really does.
And a note to people, I know a lot of people refer to this house as a plantation, and it was not a plantation. This was just a normal farmhouse that was built that was kind of the style of the time. So there's not any kind of special palace-like a designation to it. It's a big house, but for the time, it was kind of a standard house size.
Because people had bigger families.
Yeah, 4 bedrooms upstairs. So
That's right.
That's
Yeah, and it's kind of designed in that same way, where there's a hall through the center part of the house, both upstairs and downstairs with rooms off the side. So air and cooling it can kind of help during the summer months. You open everything up, the wind blows through, pulls the hot air out, that kind of thing. So it's designed kind of that way.
Just a lot of the fascinating lessons here at the Nashville Zoo. NashvilleZoo.org. If you want a membership, it will be money well spent, because you can enjoy stuff like this all year long. And we have some fabulous sponsors on this show. We thanks to Kia of Murfreesboro and Advertising Solutions. They bring you this program each and every week, and we're going to talk about them right now.
You girls having fun?
Yeah, I'm going to key of my own pretty soon. Me too.
Good night, Kia guy.
Good night.
Buckle up, Dad.
Are we there yet?
At Kia of Murfreesboro, we're here whether you're ready or not.
Here's some reasons why you would want to consider the Beehive membership. One is you get 3 different inspections, one for your cooling, one for your heating, and one for your plumbing. What we can do is we come out and we check the unit before we're actually gonna need it. So we're able to see problems ahead of time, so that way in those months that you're hot, you don't have to be hot.
It's so freaking hot in there.
We do find a problem, we go ahead and take photos of it, and we tell you how we go about fixing it.
Well, not only do we have a new guest, Jim, we have a new sponsor to welcome.
Oh, tell me about it.
Busy Bee HVAC.
Of course, Busy Bee. Yeah.
I know, they were busy bees, and when the weather's at its worst,
I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, everybody
Yeah.
was calling, our heat is out.
It
our
always
heat is
goes out at the best possible time, right? Hey, I want to tell you a story.
Okay.
So we were talking about the Croft sisters in the last segment, and they used to have a parrot. And I've got a picture of them here, and we got pictures of it so we can pull it up. But they had this beautiful yellow-headed parrot, which I understand to be a Cuban yellow-headed parrot. And we have now with us today Robin, who's brought another yellow-headed parrot, though not a Cuban yellow-headed parrot. What kind of animal is this?
So they do call them yellow-headed parrots, but they also call them double yellow-headed parrots, and it comes from the South America, Central America. So they're more of the Amazon rainforest.
And what is her name?
His name is Jerry.
His name.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Jerry.
Of course it is. Does Jerry want sunflower seed? Is that what he's eating?
Oh yeah, he loves sunflower seeds. It's his favorite treat. He gets them whenever he goes away outside of where he lives. It helps him to remain calm.
Well, tell me a little bit about Jerry. You know, how old is he? What is he? What does he like to do all day? Does he play any sports? Does he? Did he go
Is
to
he a
school?
talker?
Yeah.
He is
Does he
a
have
talker.
kids?
He is a talker. He says stuff.
Oh.
As far as I know, he doesn't have kids.
Okay.
When he moved to the zoo, we estimated him to be around 10 years old. So he's actually one of the first birds we ever had in a show here at the zoo.
Oh, okay.
He started at the old location, so he's been here for a while. We think he's around 40 years old.
Wow.
He's been here for almost 30 years.
And how old will they live to be?
60 to 80 is the average,
Okay.
which is a very long time.
Yeah, like people.
Yeah, pretty much. Like once you get a parrot, you sort of have them for life, which he outlived his owner.
Wow. Okay.
That happens all the time. So if you're thinking, hey, I want to get a parrot, I want to get a big bird, just know it's an investment of time and you have to make provisions for them because chances are, they're here for a while.
You got to let your benefactors know because likely it's going to be in your will somewhere. So, just make sure you got all those I's dotted.
He's looking at you adoringly. Do they develop affectionate bonds with their keepers and handlers?
They do. All of our keepers really like Jerry because he's actually kind of polite and quiet for a parrot, which is, I won't say that about any other parrot I know. But he doesn't like to make friends easily. And part of why they have a harder time making friends is because I've been with Jerry for a very long time and he knows I'm still around. So he can only have one friend at a time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you said he talks
He
or
does.
mimics, depending on how you want to define talking. So,
It takes him a while sometimes to go through his cues that I give him because he doesn't talk with his mouth full. So one of the things he learned how to say is, well, hi. And he has hand cues. And then he has verbal cues as well. So that one's a hand cue. Are you being quiet?
Well, hi. It's so cute.
Well, hi.
Oh my gosh.
It is very cute. And then he takes his time. He takes the skin or the hull off of his sunflower seeds. He doesn't like that.
He likes to skin them. He just
He
likes the
does.
meat inside the sunflower seed.
He does.
Gotcha. And who doesn't really?
I know, right? He also says, "Did you miss me today, Jerry?" Jerry, ask.
Wow. He's really well trained.
He's a good boy.
Does he still do shows here at the zoo?
He doesn't. He did when I did shows. He decided he would kind of follow me through the different paths I've had here at the zoo.
Great. So does he go out to schools? Does he act as an ambassador in other ways besides the show?
He went to schools for many years before COVID, and now he's changed his job here at the zoo a little bit, and he does encounters throughout the zoo. So you'll see him with me and his other friend Cam, who takes him out. And sometimes he goes to rentals that we have at the zoo, and just makes special appearances like that. And he can go off-site still as well.
So if you're lucky, when you come out to the zoo, you might experience Jerry up close and in person as you're walking through the zoo.
Yeah.
What are some of the sicknesses that you have to really watch out for with birds? Do they get the flu? Do they, we hear bird flu. We hear, we have to worry about them getting COVID or are there any kind of issues with birds that you had to watch out for?
Yeah, we do have to worry about the flu, and we take lots of different measures for that depending on how severe it is in our area. And then they have certain things that are specific to parrots that we have to watch out for.
Wow.
So if we get a new bird in, we're just going to have to keep them monitored to make sure everything is okay during that time period before we'd ever introduce them with other birds.
What's his favorite physical touch?
He does not like to be touched.
See,
None.
there isn't
Then
one.
none. Yeah, keep your distance.
There is a personal preference. One time, many years ago, Jerry and I were eating lunch together outside in the amphitheater. He came over, put his head down for me to pet him. I was shocked and didn't know what to do, and I didn't do anything, so I was never given the opportunity again. I blew my one chance.
That's right. He put it out there once, and you rejected him, and
I keep hoping he'll get it
Yep.
again, but I touched his foot the wrong way the other day, and he got very angry about that.
didn't like that at
No, he
all.
did
Well,
not, so.
when you're 40 and people don't touch you right, you tend to pop off pretty quick.
And a parrot has a bite.
Yes, they do. I don't want to say this, but I will, but he has never bit me. He's bit other people. So when he was upset with me yesterday, he put his beak on me and told me he was upset, but he didn't bite. So I just had to shift what we were doing.
Gotcha.
He did not like to watch, he did not like looking at the Chinese lanterns like the rest of us did.
Oh.
So they were a
Gotcha.
little bit weird for him.
I understand.
I thought they were pretty amazing though, Jerry.
And they have a pretty strong bite, do they not? I mean,
They
what
do.
What are we talking about?
They can crack open, the hardest thing I've seen him crack open are almonds, but depending on what kind of parrot they are. The hyacinths that are on exhibit, it's like 500 pounds of pressure per square inch. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's a lot of power. So he could do a lot of damage and it would hurt.
Wow.
Biting is something that they learn. They learn it, they get their way, and then it's like, oh, I'll just do this.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is just like dogs.
Yeah, kind of.
Just like horses. I mean, anything, if you go, well, I got what I wanted when I did that, so therefore I will continue to do that bad behavior. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Well, Jerry, you look good for your age, dude.
Yeah, Jerry, wolf whistle. Wolf whistle? Good.
Way better than mine, way better
There we
than
go.
mine.
Just in time for Valentine's.
Well, Robin Mahoney, when did you decide that birds were your thing?
That's a good question. I had the opportunity when I was in college to work as a seasonal. I was near Chicago, so I worked at Brookfield Zoo, and I worked with some red-tailed hawks that I really liked.
Oh, wow.
And I enjoyed that. And then I interviewed to come to Nashville Zoo because I wanted to be in Nashville because my family's here. And I was like, sure, I'll try a bird show because I just wanted to be in Nashville. But I really like this bird. So he's been my friend for a long time.
And you've been here for quite a while.
About 25 years.
Yeah,
So Jerry
yeah.
and I have been besties since about that time. I wasn't his first best friend here, human best friend, but once she was able to hire another staff, go on vacation, he never forgave her, so now we're best friends. He does say bye-bye.
Well, before we say goodbye, I do have a question from Daniel from Joelton, who is in middle school, and he said, when are we going to see the baby tigers?
Oh, I get that. We get that question a lot.
A lot, because it's been on social media. If you haven't checked, we've been watching the moms out, and they're getting big.
Right, yeah, and they have a side yard that's off exhibit that I understand they're going to start introducing them to, so they can get outside a little bit as the weather's warmer. We are seeing temperatures that are a little bit warmer. We do hope to have them on exhibit in the spring sometime. I'll tell you this, they have to pass a swim test. To go out on exhibit, because there's a giant moat in the front of the exhibit, and if they were to fall down into that moat, into the water, we need to make sure that they can swim and get themselves out. So the keepers are going to put them into like a big trough to make sure that they know how to swim or not. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And when that happens, we hope to get lots of great footage of the swim test. So you'll have to look for that on social media as well.
You always hear that cats don't like water, but cats do swim when they're tigers.
Tigers love water.
They swim like
tigers
crazy.
Love being in the water. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see.
Well, speaking of social media, if you don't follow on Instagram and Facebook the Nashville Zoo, you are missing out, because all the zookeepers post all of the animals, and they do things that you would miss out if you're just walking around the zoo.
That's right, yeah. Inside tips and that kind of stuff, you'll pick up on all of that.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, our incredible group of sponsors that bring this show to you each and every week. And I hope that you will save this, share it, follow us. And it is What's New at the Zoo with Jim Bartoo. I'm Devon O'Day. See you later. Bye.